Let's talk about secondaries, what most people don't tell you.
Hello guys, Oroth here and a warm welcome back to my channel. I've been on holiday for quite some time, but it's good to be back, and finally I got the opportunity to upload another video. And I wanted to talk about secondaries today, because often when I make videos and I deal a lot of damage, I often see a lot of
Well alert, boys, well alert.
comments saying that one reason why I deal so much damage is probably because I have very high secondaries. And I can also see comments like this on Reddit and in other forums.
Yeah, the basic two comments like, oh, he does a lot of damage because he's a whale.
Forums like Discord, where people are giving others advice that they have to increase their secondaries as much as possible to deal a lot of damage. And today I'm going to teach you why this is not true. And I have talked about this in some previous build videos, but probably a lot of people didn't watch that segment. So today I'm going to focus solely on secondaries.
It's a cool skin though.
Why they often don't really matter at all. So let us go here to my attribute page, and we can see now that I have 6,200 armor penetration, which is quite high. And if I click here, you can see that...
Oh, but look at this, guys. He has 6,000, and this is like what I was saying that before the video, that I was planning to start putting on potency or resistance, because I'm also now like at 5,000 and what is it, like 5,400. So I am you start getting capped. The thing is, like, I feel like as you keep progressing on the difficulties, probably the requirements here will also increase. I think so. But look, 5,400, 52% critical hit damage, and he has 6,200, and he has 52. So he's only getting 2%, critical hit damage increase because he has 1,000 more, but that's not a lot, right?
56% increased critical hit damage, because my armor penetration is
2,449
higher than the recommended for Inferno 8. And of course 56% critical hit damage is super strong, so secondaries matters, but now I'm gonna show you why it only matters to a certain point.
Yeah, probably
so
5,000 is the maximum.
I currently have 56% critical hit damage. Let us now start to take away some of these sapphires to reduce my armor penetration. So if I remove this rank 8 sapphire, all of a
55?
sudden I have a bit less armor penetration, of course. And if I click on it now, you can see that I still have 55% critical hit damage.
And the cool part that now, especially if you have, for example, the blood flow, right? You don't even need to cap it like that high. Like the blood flow will increase. Mine is like rank 4, right? But increase like 26%. 26%. Also, you have like nowadays the Lev, which also increases the critical hit damage. You also have like Reforge. So there's so many ways that you can actually increase your critical hit damage that this armor pen becomes a bit like a lower value. Still, however, very important for PvP.
Removing one rank 8 sapphire, I only lose 1% critical hit damage.
Yeah.
And the reason for this is that the bonuses that you get from secondaries are diminishing. So this means that you will get a lot of bonuses in the beginning as soon as you go over the recommended, but after a certain point you will almost gain nothing. So let me continue here and take off some more sapphires. I take off another rank 8, and now I'm only 1,137 higher than the recommended, but I still get 52% critical hit damage. So by removing 2 rank 8 sapphires, I only lost 4% critical hit damage. So basically, of course, 4% critical hit damage is a tiny difference, but if I would go to the dummy and have 2 of these rank 8 unequipped, I would almost deal the exact same amount of damage compared to having all of the sapphires equipped. Let me continue to take off more sapphires. If I take off another one, we can see that now I'm all of a sudden only 481 higher, and then I get 45% critical
this already
damage. So in this case, 3 rank 8 sapphires would only give me 11% critical hit damage. And this actually means that
AP is about the damage dealt based on the target's armor. Yes, especially in PvP, it matters to keep like investing on armor penetration, because also players, they'll have higher armor.
After being approximately 500 higher than the recommended level for your difficulty, it doesn't really matter if you go higher than that. And of course, if we talk about PvP, then it's different, because then your armor penetration will be compared with your enemy's armor, and in that case, yeah, of course, there is not a set break.
But one important thing, and whenever I say, and I'm doing my guides and these things, I always say for them, for people to keep investing on the armor penetration, because like these are new players, and to reach to 4,200, it will take you a lot of time, man. And especially if you are selling your secondary gems, your normal gems, oh my god, it's gonna take you like years and years and years. So be careful. Don't sell your normal gems and keep investing on it. And I feel like whenever you reach to a certain point, like, I don't know, I think like if you reach to around like 5,000, you probably can slow down and go to another stat. And this we're talking mainly about like PvE. In PvP, I still feel like you can keep investing.
Even point where it doesn't matter anymore. If you go higher on the armor penetration, it means that you will deal more critical hit damage to more people. But what is important to mention here as well is that if you, for example, are fighting someone who has, let's say 3,000 armor in Battleground, it doesn't really matter if you have 5,000 armor penetration or 10,000 armor penetration against that specific enemy, because if you're 2,000 higher or if you're 7,000 higher, doesn't really make a difference, because you will already have reached the cap on your critical hit damage. So for that reason, it might sometimes be reasonable to not go all in on one of the secondaries. So if we take a look here, for example, on my potency, we can see that it's also quite high. I could also lower my potency.
Okay, yes, 6,000 potency, 37% duration. How much do I have? Okay, I have 25. Oof. Okay, so here is quite meaningful. Oh my god. Look at this. I'm literally getting like 12% increase. Oh my god, this is a lot. 12%, especially when you're talking about like dot damage and these like debuffs on the target, is a lot, man. Okay, I gotta get like this potency up, boys.
And if we talk about PvP, for example, if you think about it, if you have very, very high potency, you will already have prolonged durations against a majority of enemies. And if you went all in on potency, your resistance is probably quite low. And this means that even those players with quite low resistance would all of a sudden be able to have high harmful effect duration on you. So even if your potency is very high, if you face a quite low stat Crusader, for example, and he stuns you, if you went all in on potency, then all of a sudden he will actually be able to stun you for quite a long duration. And if you would just have a little bit more balance and put a little bit more in resistance, you would still have
resistance, especially now in PvP, because everyone has slows, everyone has CC. It's like, it's insane. I feel like that's something that I'm lacking, and I'm gonna try, like, because, you know, as a free-to-play, you're very limited on the things that you can use, and usually I always go for armor penetration because I want to be able to do some decent damage. But the reality, I'm feeling that I'm quite lacking on the resistance and the potency, and even on the armor, man. So this is probably something that I'll be working on in the next months. Probably boosting a bit my armor as well. But yeah,
have enough potency to have long harmful effect duration against the majority of players, while you will maybe be able to defend yourself.
Now, potency really depends, highly depends on your class, right? Some classes, I mean, every class will benefit from potency because it increases the durations of, you know, your harmful effects will always be beneficial, but like some classes benefit more than others.
Against harmful effects on yourself a bit better when you have higher resistance. So that's just a little tip for PvP, that for most players it makes sense to not go all in on one of the attributes. Make sure that you have enough of each secondary to be higher than the average player at least, and then you can focus on the secondary that corresponds the best with your specific build that you're playing at the moment. But
no, mages, they take mages is quite good with potency because they use a lot of like CC, knockups, slows and things. Probably one that it doesn't take a lot of advantage from potency is maybe Tempest. Is actually, for Tempest, if you go armor penetration and resistance, probably it's going to be better for you.
To summarize here, if we talk about PvE, you don't really need more secondaries after a certain point. And I know that a lot of players, they are mainly focused on performing as well as possible in PvE. And in that case, if you are around 500 higher than the recommended for the difficulty, you don't need to be stressed. You don't need to make a lot of investments in increasing your secondaries further for PvE. Because in that case, you would be a lot better off if you focus those resources into some other factors, like your legendary gems, maybe get a better familiar or something else. So I just wanted to highlight this in a video of its own, that secondaries
or guys, which I see it is always the biggest flaw that most players they have, including whales, it's your reforged. Your reforged, most of the times, they suck. They absolutely suck. You're not following, like, you're not taking advantage of this. Or they are having, like, the wrong ones, or they have, like, they are putting a lot of money on the legendary gems, and they are not even min-maxing your reforges, which is something that on the previous video that we saw from Lonely, he could also even refer that if you want to maximize, like mid-max all the values on the best reforges, probably we're talking about a few more $1,000.
Are good, but only up to a certain point, especially when we talk about PvE, of course. So I hope that this made sense to you guys, and that it will help you to make other types of choices going forward, especially when you build your PvE character. And what this also means is actually that I know that a lot of players, they are constantly trying to up their fortitude and willpower as much as possible because they think that it's so important to have as high armor penetration or potency always.
It is in PvP.
And yes, it's good to have higher secondaries in PvP, but yeah, for PvE it's not really useful. So you don't have to chase those perfect normal attributes. It's better to look at the magical attributes. And also on top of that, if you look on your rings, for example, if your secondaries are already high enough, it even makes sense to go for red sockets and to put in the tourmalines. That's what will make the most impact, even if it's not that huge. It will be better for me here, in my case, for example, to have this red socket with a tourmaline compared to another blue socket.
I guess, like, what are we talking about here? It is a situation that it is for very, 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 very high-end players, you know, or veteran players into the game. Most players, they will not reach here like soon at all, right? It takes a very long time, and like, and I wish like this is something that secondaries, and I don't know if, I don't think he's gonna say, but like secondaries should absolutely at this stage have a catch-up mechanic for at least players. They have some decent, like, I mean, like in 2 or 3 months you should be able to reach to, like, I will say around 4,000, man. So you were just able to do some PvE. Because, like, what happens is, like, there is catch-up mechanics when it comes to the Paragon level. There is catch-up mechanics here on the gear ranks. There's catch-up mechanics also here on the combat rating. And then you reach to Inferno 7 or 8, and you open your secondaries, and they absolutely suck. A lot of them, they have, like, 2.5, 2.3 thousand, or they have, like, 1 or 2 with, like, 3,000. It is absolutely insane, man. And like that, obviously your character is not gonna do damage, man, because you barely have any. Look at this. Imagine, oh, okay, 4,000. But what if I take like these two? Look at this. Look at these guys. If I have 3.6 thousand armor penetration, almost 3.7, I am increasing 0% of my critical hit damage. It is like the huge difference, because you go from 0 and then you just add a few, and all of a sudden you are doing so much better. Like where is my oh, I lost the boots. Oh, the boots are here. Look at this. I go from 0 to 54%. It's absolutely insane of a boost of a damage. This is part of it, and also of course the duration on the harmful effects. So a lot of classes, they benefit from having potency and armor. Like potency and armor penetration are really the only two that really matter in PvE.
For example. So yeah, until next time, I want to wish you a very nice day or a very nice evening, of course. Please join my Discord server.
This was good. This was a great video from Mortal. Go there and drop him a like and a sub if you still didn't.